Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for All session, and wish you all a very happy, blessed Janmashtami 2023. I was going to take a class on Sri Krishna Janma Leela, but I have a lot of things lined up. So I was thinking I will just read from the first 3 chapters of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. These are the 3 chapters that Srila Prabhupada also read on Janmashtami night from Krishna book. They didn't have the 10th canto at that time. This was in New Vrindavan. So Srila Prabhupada read the first 3 chapters from Krishna book. So it may take a little longer if we read the Krishna book. So I thought I will just read the translations from the first 3 chapters as a start. You will certainly be hearing many lectures today. You'll be, attending many programs. But just to begin your day, I thought we will read from the first 3 chapters of the 10th canto, which is the appearance of Lord Sri Krishna. Is that okay with everyone, or you have some other preference? So we will end the class sooner, I'm thinking. Achut Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Guru Maharaj.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Now, Mataji, we will be going in an hour for the funeral, Mataji. My Prabhuji is here. Now, just you can pray for the Mataji.
Okay, we will all chant one round of japa now, Mataji. So that's the way we pray, and we will certainly pray for Prabhuji's, Vivek Prabhu's mother, your mother-in-law, certainly. So let's chant one round of japa. I was actually
Prabhuji is here, Mataji. Is here. You can just say, give something.
Thank you, Mataji, for your prayers.
Certainly, Prabhuji. Certainly. We are certainly praying. I am praying certainly that your mother may get a good destination where she would get an opportunity to render devotional service to Krishna. And thank you for your dedicated service to your mother. I have seen all these years how you have been taking care of her. So our prayers are with you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji. On the that day when your class was going on, we had put it aloud along with Srila Prabhupada chanting. So she heard Bhagavatam and Japa together. Thank you.
Krishna's arrangement, Mataji, and your sincere devotional service. So let us chant one round of japa, and then we will read the first 3 chapters of the 10th canto, the appearance of. And also it's very auspicious. She left just before Janmashtami, close to Srila Prabhupada, Krishna's appearance day and Srila Prabhupada's appearance day. So that's also very auspicious.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes. So let us all chant. Madhava, can you give my phone? Let's all chant one round of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What is Mataji's name? Achut Priya Mataji?
Leela Shenai Mataji.
Leela Shenai Mataji. So all we will remember and we will pray for the continued journey and destination of Leela Shenoy Mataji, the mother-in-law, the mother of Vivek Prabhu, mother-in-law of Achut Priya Arundhati Mataji, who departed from her body yesterday morning while we were all doing our Srimad Bhagavatam class. And she was also, listening to Srila Prabhupada chanting japa. She got a garland from Krishna. She got Charnamrita and Tulsi just before departure. So, and also today is Janmashtami. So these are all very good signs. Um, so let's chant one round of japa. It's not finished just when they leave the body. We have to continue praying because the soul continues to travel after that also. So we will pray that she will have the mercy of Lord Krishna. Um, from these symptoms, certainly she has, but so that she will reach her destination. So let's all chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshitarine. Just one more note, today is Janmashtami. So of course we should, the first meditation is on the appearance of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna's appearance is auspicious for everyone, and it is Krishna's appearance is like the appearance of the sun. So let us meditate on the mercy of Lord Krishna on all the conditioned souls today. And let us pray for his mercy so that we can render some devotional service to Krishna today, throughout the day and throughout our lives. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय,
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं मुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1, 2, and 3. This is about the appearance of Lord Sri Krishna. And welcome to all of you, and wish you all a very happy and blessed Janmashtami. Thank you for joining this morning. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapters 1, 2, and 3. So, Chapter 1 is the advent of Lord Krishna. Chapter 2 is the prayers by the demigods for Lord Krishna in the womb. And Chapter 3 is the birth of Lord Sri Krishna, which is today. So, we'll read the first 3 chapters, only translations. Actually, we have been studying the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. We have had 27 hours of sessions so far, and still we are in the second chapter. So if I were to go over the whole thing, we need a lot of time, and we have limited time today. All of you have so many services also. So keeping with time, we will simply read Srila Prabhupada's translations so that you get an overview, a start for the day, and then the rest of the day you'll be hearing a lot of classes. So, Chapter 1, the Advent of Lord Krishna, Introduction. So, we'll directly start with the translations. King Parikshit said, so just as a background, at the end of, so this is the beginning of the 10th canto. So, at the end of the 9th canto, the whole 9th canto, now we are reading 9th canto in our daily reading. So, the whole 9th canto is about the descendants of Vaivasvata Manu. So, there, the last 2 verses of the 9th canto are about Lord Krishna coming in the descendants. So, in Vaivasvata Manu's descendants, there is Chandra Vamsa and Surya Vamsa. So, first Surya Vamsa was discussed, and all the kings that came in Surya Vamsa. So, there we discussed about Lord Ramchandra. And then Chandra Vamsa was discussed, and at the end, in Chandra Vamsa, Lord Krishna was discussed. So Lord Krishna was described in only 2 verses. So after hearing that, what is Parikshit Maharaj saying? Let's hear. King Parikshit said, my dear Lord, to whom? To Sukadeva Goswami. My dear Lord, you have elaborately described the dynasties of both the moon god and the sun god with the exalted and wonderful character of their kings. O best of Munis, you have also described the descendants of Yadu. So Yadu is one of the kings in the moon dynasty. You have also described the descendants of Yadu who were very pious and strictly adherent to religious principles. Now, if you will, kindly describe the wonderful, glorious activities of Lord Vishnu or Krishna who appeared in that Yadu dynasty with Baladev, his plenary expansion. So here you may say, or Sukadev Goswami may say, but I have already discussed, right, about Lord Krishna in 2 verses, and you want me to discuss everything about Lord Krishna, all his activities? It's not possible for anyone to describe all the activities of Krishna. We don't have that much capacity, we don't have that much time, and besides you, Parikshit, you have only 1 week. 1 week also, we came to the 10th canto. That means 9th cantos were already discussed. So you have a few days left. How is it possible, right? So what is Parikshit Maharaj saying? The super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, the cause of the cosmic manifestation, appeared in the dynasty of Yadu. Please tell me elaborately about his glorious activities and character from the beginning to the end of his life. So he's saying, I'm not asking you to tell me something more than what you already said. You already said in 2 verses, those 2 verses only, now you explain more elaborately. That means those whatever you have said, you explain that again using more words. Why? Because we are less intelligent, right? In 2 verses, if you explain, we cannot comprehend. The same thing, whatever you have said in 2 verses, you just open that up. I'm not asking you to tell anything extra. So text 3, the super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, the cause of the cosmic manifestation, appeared in the dynasty of Yadu. Please tell me elaborately about his glorious activities and character from the beginning to the end of his life. That means beginning from his appearance until his disappearance. Text 4. Glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is performed in the Parampara system. That is, it is conveyed from the spiritual master to disciple. Such glorification is relished by those no longer interested in the false, temporary glorification of this cosmic manifestation. Who is interested in the glorification of the Supreme Lord? Or where can you hear the glorification of the Supreme Lord? You can hear in the Parampara, coming from Guru to disciple. Guru will speak and disciple will hear. And who will hear? That person will be interested in this glorification, who is no longer interested in the false, temporary glorification of this material world. Descriptions of the Lord are the right medicine for the conditioned soul undergoing repeated birth and death. Therefore, who will cease hearing such glorification of the Lord except a butcher or one who is killing his own self? So only someone who is as degraded as a butcher. And then again, who is butcher? Butcher, you may think someone who's killing other animals. Yes, but also he's killing his own self by not hearing to Krishna's pastimes, by not showing any interest to such glorifications of the Supreme Lord. These people, anyone who's not interested in hearing the glorification of the Supreme Lord is a butcher. Why? Because he's killing his own self. This is the medicine. These glorifications of the Lords are the medicine to cure the disease of repeated birth and death. Anyone who has any self-interest will certainly hear this glorification. Who's saying this? Parikshit Maharaj is saying. Taking the boat of Krishna's lotus feet, my grandfather Arjun and others crossed the ocean of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, in which such commanders as Bhishma Dev resembled great fish. What type of fish? Like timingilas, that could very easily have swallowed them. So the ocean, the Kuru, battlefield of Kuru, the army of the Kurus was like an ocean. And the ocean has many dangerous aquatic animals like whales and sharks and even timingilas that can swallow even sharks and whales. And these great warriors like Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, they were like timingilas. And Arjun had to cross through this ocean. By the mercy of Lord Krishna, my grandfathers, that means all 5 Pandavas, my grandfathers crossed this ocean, which was very difficult to cross. But how did they cross? Actually, it was very difficult. Who can, even the best swimmer, can he cross the ocean? It's not possible to cross the ocean. And then what to speak of these dangerous animals? But my grandfathers could easily cross, as easily as one steps over the hoof print of a calf. How? How were they able to cross this ocean, and that too with such ease? Because my mother surrendered unto Lord Krishna's lotus feet, the Lord, Sudarshan Chakra in hand, entered her womb and saved my body. This is again Uttara. She surrendered to Krishna. So when Ashwathama attacked Parikshit Maharaj in the womb, Krishna entered the womb of Uttara and saved Parikshit's body, the body of the last remaining descendant of the Kurus and the Pandavas, which was almost destroyed by the fiery weapon of Ashwathama. Lord Sri Krishna, appearing within and outside of all materially embodied living beings by his own potency in the forms of eternal time, that is, as Paramatma and as Virat Rupa, gave liberation to everyone, either as cruel death or as life. Kindly enlighten me by describing his transcendental characteristics. So this is the glorification of Krishna by Parikshit Maharaj and devotional service to Krishna. So he's saying how Krishna saved my grandfathers, the Pandavas. It was not possible for them to be saved because the enemy was so powerful. The army was impassable. But by the mercy of Krishna, they were able to cross very easily. Brahmastra, who could counteract Brahmastra? But by the mercy of Krishna, I was saved. So I want to hear the glories of such Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is appearing inside and outside of all embodied living beings. How is he there inside and outside? He's there inside as Paramatma, and outside is also there as the Virata Rupa. And in this way, he's giving liberation to everyone. He's giving liberation to everyone, either as cruel death or as life. So in both, right, you cannot live and death. Krishna says, right, in Kala Rupa, Krishna is coming as death. So he's liberating everyone, giving liberation to everyone, either as cruel death or as life. So I want to hear about his transcendental characteristics. My dear Sukadev Goswami, you have already explained that Sankarshan, who belongs to the second quadruple, the Chaturvyuha, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. Sankarshan, who belongs to the second quadruple, appeared as the son of Rohini, named Balaram. If Balaram was not transferred from one body to another, how is it possible that he was first in the womb of Devaki and then in the womb of Rohini? Kindly explain this to me. Okay. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking some questions because, as I told you previously, in the 9th canto, we read about the descendants in the Chandravamsa. So there was a mention of Balaram, and there Krishna was also mentioned in 2 verses. So now Parikshit Maharaj got a question about Balaram. What is that? That you said that Balaramji appeared as the son of Rohini. If Balaram was not transferred from one body to another, how is it possible that he was first? Because he is also one of the sons of Devaki. So what is the mystery? I want to know. You say that he is the son of Rohini, and that means he must have been transferred from Devaki to Rohini, like that. Kindly explain this to me. Why did Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, leave the house of his father Vasudev and transfer himself to the house of Nanda in Vrindavan? Why? Why did Krishna leave Vasudev's home and why did he go to Nanda Maharaj's home in Vrindavan? Where did the Lord, the master of the Yadu dynasty, live with his relatives in Vrindavan? Because we studied about Krishna as a descendant of Yadu. So descendant of Yadu is Vasudev and Vasudev's son is Krishna, Vasudev. Then why did he go to Vrindavan? Why didn't he live with his father as a descendant of Yadu dynasty, as a Yadava? Why he didn't just live in his father's home? Why did he go to Vrindavan? That was the question asked by Parikshit Maharaj. Then where did he live with his relatives in Vrindavan? In Vrindavan, where did he live? Lord Krishna lived both in Vrindavan and in Mathura. What did he do there? What were his activities in Vrindavan? What were his activities in Mathura? Why did he kill Kamsa, his mother's brother? Such killing is not at all sanctioned in the Shastras. Yes? How? Killing one's mother's brother? This is not sanctioned. Being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he establishes dharma, that which is given in Shastras. Then why did he kill? Why did he do an act which is not sanctioned by the Shastras? What was the reason? These are all questions by Parikshit Maharaj. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has no material body, yet he appears as a human being. For how many years did he live with the descendants of Vrishni? How many wives did he marry? And for how many years did he live in Dwaraka? So here also, when you say he appeared as a human being, does not mean that the question here literally means, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, how many human years? Because he doesn't have a material body. So you cannot say that for how long did he live as a human being. Is that correct? No, he's not a human being. He's Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he does not accept a human body. He comes in his self-same body. He descends from the spiritual world. So when he came here, for how many human years, like according to human calculation, for how many human years did he stay on this earth? And what were his activities? How many wives did he marry? Like that. These were the questions asked by Parikshit Maharaj. So, how many wives did he marry? And for how many years did he live in Dwaraka? O great sage, who know everything about Krishna, please describe in detail all the activities of which I have inquired and also those of which I have not. I may have forgotten some questions, but if you think there are some very important topics which I have not inquired about, please tell about those also. Tell me everything, answer all the questions that I have asked, and if I have left out some questions, you also answer those. For I have full faith and I am very eager to hear of them. Because of my vow on the verge of death, I have given up even drinking water. Yet, because I am drinking the nectar of topics about Krishna, which is flowing from the lotus mouth of your Lordship, my hunger and thirst, which are extremely difficult to bear, cannot hinder me. So here, Parikshit Maharaj is saying, he already heard 9 cantos. And for these, while hearing these 9 cantos, he's hearing from Sukadev Goswami, Srimad Bhagavatam. He's saying, I have not even taken water. Normally, it is not easy for somebody to tolerate this pain of hunger and thirst. And also, what to speak of someone who's about to die, right? So many thoughts can come in the mind. Why did that Brahmana boy curse me? Why did I do that? I should not have done that. See how I'm. So many thoughts can come in the mind. But Parikshit Maharaj is, and they can give so much pain to the heart, isn't it? But he's saying that is not giving me any pain, and even this hunger and thirst, which are very difficult to overcome, they are also not giving me any pain. Why? Because of the nectar. I'm getting so much pleasure hearing the nectar of Krishna Katha from your lips that I don't even feel any pain from hunger, thirst, or from the impending death. So this is the effect of Krishna Katha, absorption in Krishna Katha. That type of absorption is required. So he's saying it cannot hinder me. They are very extremely difficult to bear, but they cannot hinder me. Why? Because of the nectar topics about Krishna, which are flowing from your lotus mouth. Suta Goswami. So who's narrating all this? At Naimisharanya, Suta Goswami is speaking to the sages, Shaunakadi rishis. And Suta Goswami is quoting Sukadev Goswami talking to Parikshit Maharaj. So Suta Goswami said, O son of Brigu, that means Shaunak Rishi, after Sukadev Goswami, the most respectable devotee, the son of Vyasdev, heard the pious questions of Maharaj Parikshit, he thanked the king with great respect. Then he began to discourse on topics concerning Krishna, which are the remedy for all sufferings in this age of Kali. So, whatever problems we have, the only solution is topics about Krishna. So, if you simply hear Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the solution to all sufferings. And that also, especially in Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, topics about Lord Krishna. This is the remedy for all sufferings. Therefore, Sukadev Goswami is thanking Parikshit Maharaj. You have asked such a nice questions, a bunch of questions. The answers to these questions are the solution to all sufferings in this age of Kali. So he thanked Parikshit Maharaj. Srila Sukadev Goswami said, "Oh, your majesty, best of all saintly kings, because you are greatly attracted to topics of Vasudev, it is certain that your intelligence is firmly fixed in spiritual understanding, which is the only true goal for humanity. Because that attraction is unceasing, it is certainly sublime." So you have such attraction to hear about Krishna Katha. This shows that you are Sumedhasaha, right? In Kali Yuga, those who are Sumedhasaha, they will participate in what? Sankirtan Yagya. So here Sukadev Goswami is also saying, your interest in this Krishna Katha shows that your intelligence is firmly fixed in spiritual understanding. And this being fixed in spiritual understanding is the goal of humanity. Because of that attraction, because that attraction is unceasing, it is certainly sublime. The Ganges emanating from the toe of Lord Vishnu purifies the three worlds, the upper, middle, and lower planetary systems. Similarly, when one asks questions about the pastimes and characteristics of Lord Vasudeva Krishna, three varieties of men are purified: the speaker or preacher, he who inquires, and the people in general who listen. So, this is the beauty of Krishna Katha. One who is speaking is purified, one who is asking further questions, trying to elaborate, right? Inquiring, that person is purified, and also the everyone who is listening is also purified. And there's a gradation, right? The speaker is more, right? He's purified most. One who is inquiring, next, he's also purified, right? After the speaker, the next. And one who is hearing, he's also purified, but in that order. So now, Sukadeva Goswami begins the narration of Krishna Katha. Once, when Mother Earth was overburdened by hundreds of thousands of military phalanxes of various conceited demons dressed like kings, she approached Lord Brahma for relief. So there were actually demons who were selfish, proud, but they were dressed like kings. And they overburdened the earth with their military power. She couldn't bear that burden, so she approached Lord Brahma for relief. Mother Earth assumed the form of a cow. Very much distressed, with tears in her eyes, she appeared before Lord Brahma and told him about her misfortune. Thereafter, having heard of the distress of Mother Earth, Lord Brahma, with Mother Earth, Lord Shiva, and all the other demigods approached the shore of the ocean of milk. So within this ocean within this universe, there is Shvetadvip, right? Where Kshirodakashayi Vishnu resides. So whenever there is any problem in any planet, they go to their particular deity. There's a predominating deity, a presiding deity for each planet. If that deity is not able to solve the problem, the deity will take the issue to Lord Brahma. And if Lord Brahma is also not able to solve the problem, he will take it to the Supreme Lord, like that. So Lord Brahma, along with Bhumi Devi and all the demigods, went to Shvetadvip, to the ocean of the Milk Ocean, to the shore of the Milk Ocean. After reaching the shore of the ocean of milk, the demigods worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the Master of the whole universe, the Supreme God of all gods, who provides for everyone and diminishes everyone's suffering. With great attention, they worship Lord Vishnu, who lies on the ocean of milk, by reciting the Vedic mantras known as the Purusha Sukta. While in trance, Lord Brahma heard the words of Lord Vishnu vibrating in the sky. So Lord Brahma also did not see the Lord. They were standing on the shore of the ocean and they were offering prayers, but Lord Brahma heard Lord Vishnu's words. Thus, he told the demigods, "O demigods, hear from me." So, first Lord Brahma heard, and then he repeated Kshirodakashayi Vishnu's words to the demigods. He told the demigods, "O demigods, hear from me the order of Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, the Supreme Person, and execute it attentively without delay." Lord Brahma informed the demigods, "Before we submitted our petition to the Lord, he was already aware of the distress on earth. Consequently, for as long as the Lord moves on earth to diminish its burden by his own potency in the form of time, all of you demigods should appear through plenary portions as sons and grandsons in the family of the Yadus. So, by the way, there is a little bit more to be explained here. So, here, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu meditated on Bhagavan Krishna, because who is coming here? Krishna himself is descending from Goloka, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Swayam Bhagavan is descending. So when Brahmaji prayed to Kshirodakashayi Vishnu actually meditated on Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna passed on the message to Kshirodakashayi Vishnu that I am going to descend, I am aware of the problem, I am going to come. So you tell the demigods to take birth in the Yadu dynasty, like that. So here, when we read, so Brahma is telling now, before we submitted our petition to the Lord, he was already aware of the distress on earth. Consequently, for as long as the Lord moves on earth to diminish its burden by his own potency in the form of time, all of you demigods should appear through plenary portions as sons and grandsons in the family of the Yadus. That means your expansions, right? Demigods' expansions should appear in the Yadu dynasty. That's the point. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who has full potency, will personally appear as the son of Vasudeva. Therefore, all the wives of the demigods should also appear in order to satisfy him. So this is the message passed on by Kshirodakashaya Vishnu to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma is repeating the same thing to all the demigods. So Kshirodakashaya Vishnu is saying, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who has full potency, will personally appear as the son of Vasudeva. Therefore, not just the demigods, but all the wives of the demigods should also appear in order to satisfy him. The foremost manifestation of Krishna is Sankarshan, who is known as Ananta. He is the origin of all incarnations within this material world. So all of you are aware about that. Krishna's immediate expansion is Lord Balaram, and Balaram's expansion is the Chaturvyuha, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And then the Sankarshan, he again expands into the Vaikuntha realm as Lord Narayan, like that. Again there is second Chaturvyuha. Then there is that Sankarshan from the second Chaturvyuha. There is Mahasankarshan, right? Then you have Mahavishnu, and then you have Karanodakashaya Vishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, like that, expansions. So, he is the origin of all incarnations within this material world, who Sankarshan. Previous to the appearance of Lord Krishna, this original Sankarshan will appear as Baladev, just to please the Supreme Lord Krishna in his transcendental pastimes. So, this is the message being relayed by Lord Brahma. Whatever he heard from Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, he is repeating to the demigods. Also, so he's saying also about Baladev's appearance. Just to please the Supreme Lord Krishna in his transcendental pastimes, that original Sankarshan is going to appear as Baladev. The potency of the Lord, known as Vishnu Maya, who is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will also appear with Lord Krishna. This potency, acting in different capacities, captivates all the worlds, both material and spiritual. So you have Mahamaya and Yogamaya, right? That which captivates the material world is Mahamaya. That which captivates the spiritual world is Yogamaya. So this potency, acting in different capacities, captivates all the worlds, both material and spiritual. At the request of her master, she will appear with her different potencies in order to execute the work of the Lord. So Krishna is going to appear, Baladev is going to appear, and the Lord's potency, Vishnu Maya, is also going to appear. Sukadev Goswami continued. After thus advising the demigods and pacifying Mother Earth, the very powerful Lord Brahma, who is the master of all other Prajapatis and is therefore known as Prajapati Pati, right? He is the Pati of all Prajapatis. So Prajapatis, you have Daksha Prajapati, Kardama Muni, Kashyapa Muni, like that. So he is the one who is actually giving birth to all these Prajapatis. So he is called Prajapati Pati. So Lord Brahma, after giving this instruction, returned to his own abode, Brahmaloka. Okay, so that happened. So now coming to in Yadu dynasty, what's going on? Formerly, Shurasena, the chief of the Yadu dynasty, had gone to live in the city of Mathura. There he enjoyed the places known as Mathura and Shurasena. So this Yadu dynasty, the chief of the Yadu dynasty is Shurasena, and he lived in the city called Mathura, and he enjoyed the places known as Mathura and Shurasena. Since that time, So the place is also called Shurasena after him. Since that time, the city of Mathura had been the capital of all the kings of the Yadu dynasty. The city and district of Mathura are very intimately connected with Krishna, for Lord Krishna lives there eternally. This is also an important point. So wherever Krishna appears, whether it is Dwaraka, Mathura, Vrindavan, these are not material places of this world. These are transcendental places. Krishna eternally lives in Mathura, eternally lives in Dwaraka, eternally lives in Vrindavan. The place descends from the spiritual world. He is eternally living there. That's the point. So, here, since that time, this city Mathura had been the capital of all the kings of the Yadu dynasty. The city and district of Mathura are very intimately connected with Krishna, for Lord Krishna lives there eternally. Some time ago, Vasudev, who belonged to the demigod family or to the Shura dynasty, married Devaki. So who is Vasudev? Vasudev is the son of Shurasena. So Vasudev married Devaki. After the marriage, he mounted his chariot to return home with his newly married wife. Okay. Kamsa, the son of King Ugrasena, in order to please his sister Devaki on the occasion of her marriage, took charge of the reins of the horses and became the chariot driver. He was surrounded by hundreds of golden chariots. So, Kamsa is not the direct, the real brother, or like immediate brother of Devaki, but because Devaki is the daughter of Devaka, Kamsa is the son of Ugrasena Maharaj. But he had great affection. She is cousin sister, but he had great affection for his sister. When Vasudev married Devaki, Kamsa, out of affection, this is the tradition, isn't it? The brother takes the sister when she gets married. He accompanies the sister to her in-laws' home so that she won't feel, already she's feeling separation, leaving home. So the brother accompanies, and then he'll drop her off, maybe stay for a day or two, and then he'll come back home so that she'll get adjusted to a new family. So Kamsa, out of affection, in order to please his sister Devaki on the occasion of her marriage, took charge of the reins of the horses. So he became the chariot driver and became the chariot driver. He was surrounded by hundreds of golden chariots. Devaki's father, King Devaka, was very much affectionate to his daughter. Therefore, while she and her husband were leaving home, he gave her a dowry of 400 elephants nicely decorated with golden garlands. He also gave 10,000 horses, 1,800 chariots, and 200 very beautiful young maid servants, fully decorated with ornaments. So this idea of giving dowry is given by the father out of affection for the daughter, so that she will live comfortably after marriage. So he sent a lot of dowry. O beloved son, Maharaj Parikshit, when the bride and bridegroom were ready to start, conch shells, bugles, drums, and kettle drums all vibrated in concert for their auspicious departure. So it's a big festive occasion. Devaki is going to her husband's home, in-law's home. While Kamsa, controlling the reins of the horses, was driving the chariot along the way, an unembodied voice addressed him. Unembodied means you don't see any person there, but you just hear the sound from the sky. Akashwani. An unembodied voice addressed him, talking to Kamsa. You foolish rascal, the 8th child of the woman you are carrying will kill you. Kamsa was a condemned personality in the Bhoja dynasty because he was envious and sinful. Therefore, upon hearing this omen from the sky, he caught hold of his sister's hair with his left hand and took up his sword with his right hand to sever her head from her body. Wanting to pacify Kamsa, who was so cruel and envious that he was shamelessly ready to kill his sister, the great soul Vasudev, who was to be the father of Krishna, spoke to him in the following words. What did Akashvani say? Akashvani said that the 8th child of this woman whom you are, driving, this 8th son is going to kill you. That means Vasudev's 8th son is going to kill Kamsa. So Vasudev is going to be the father. Another point. Vasudev's another name is Anakadunduvi. You know why he's called Anakadunduvi? When Vasudev was born, there was so many instruments were conch shells, trumpets, bugles were sounded. Why? And it was announced that the Supreme Personality of Godhead will appear as the son of this child of Vasudeva. That's why his name became Anakadundubi. That means there was so much, so many instruments were played, so much music was played at the time of his appearance, because he was going to be the father of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here it is said that wanting to pacify Kamsa, who was so cruel and envious that he was shamelessly ready to kill his sister, the great soul Vasudeva, who was to be the father of Krishna, spoke to him in the following words. Vasudeva said, "My dear brother-in-law Kamsa, you are the pride of your family, the Bhoja dynasty, and great heroes praise your qualities. How could such a qualified person as you kill a woman? Right? This is against dharma. You are a great hero. Everyone praises you for your qualities. Such a great person, how can you act against dharma? How can you kill a woman? And not just a woman, she's your sister. And not just your sister, she is married. This is her day, wedding day. You're going to kill her, especially on the occasion of her marriage. How is it possible for such a great person? Some ordinary person did it. Okay, maybe we can understand. But you're the pride of your family. You're from the Bhoja dynasty. How could you do? O great hero, one who takes birth is sure to die, for death is born with the body. One may die today or after hundreds of years, but death is sure for every living entity. So first he said, you cannot do this, right? Because you are a great person. Then he's saying, why you're so much concerned about this body? Someone is going to kill you. So in order to save this body, you're ready to perform sinful activity. Kill your own sister, a woman, that to your sister on her wedding day, just to protect this body. But this body is going to die anyway. One may die today or after hundreds of years, but death is sure for every living entity. When the present body turns to dust and is again reduced to 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, the proprietor of the body, the living being, automatically receives another body of material elements according to his fruitive activities. When the next body is obtained, he gives up the present body, right? So you will certainly get another body. And also you cannot keep this body forever. Even if you protect now, still you will have to give up this body. Just as a person traveling on the road rests one foot on the ground and then lifts the other, or as a worm on a vegetable transfers itself to one leaf and then gives up the previous one, the conditioned soul takes shelter of another body and then gives up the one he had before. So your next body is already prepared. Don't worry. You will have a body. Even after you give up this body, next body will come. In fact, first the next body is prepared. Only then you will leave this body. You won't leave this body until your next body is made ready. How? Just like when you walk, first you put your one step on the ground, and then you lift the other leg, other foot. Or when a caterpillar is walking on the leaf, first it transfers the first half of the body onto a new leaf, then it will leave the previous leaf, like that. Having experienced a situation by seeing or hearing about it, one contemplates and speculates about that situation, and thus one surrenders to it, not considering his present body. Similarly, by mental adjustments, one dreams at night of living under different circumstances in different bodies and forgets his actual position. Under the same process, one gives up his present body and accepts another. Tatha dehantara prapti. So that's the point. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatrana muhyati. Dhira will not be disturbed by this change of bodies. That's the essence. You have to change your body. And how you will prepare yourself for the next body. How even in this life you do. When you are dreaming about something, you adjust yourself to that situation while you're dreaming. So by mental adjustment, one dreams at night of living under different circumstances in different bodies, and while he's doing that, he forgets about this position. Similarly, one gives up this present body and he accepts another body. At the time of death, according to the thinking, feeling, and willing of the mind, which is involved in fruitive activities, one receives a particular body. In other words, the body develops according to the activities of the mind. Changes of body are due to the flickering of the mind. For otherwise, the soul could remain in its original spiritual body. Why there are 8,400,000 species of body? Because there are so many mentalities. According to the activities of the mind, your next body is being formed. So it is said that those who are butchers, right? Those who are used to killing animals, seeing dead animals all the time, killing them all the time, their body, their face actually starts looking like that animal. Because their subtle body has already formed. Next life, there'll be some animal after going through, of course, the suffering in hell. But it's like that. Your subtle body, based on your mental state, whatever your meditation is, your next body is already being formed. So, when the luminaries in the sky, such as the moon, the sun, and the stars, are reflected into liquids like oil or water, they appear to be of different shapes, sometimes round, sometimes long, and so on, because of the movements of the wind. Similarly, when the living entity, the soul, is absorbed in materialistic thoughts, he accepts various manifestations as his own identity because of ignorance. In other words, one is bewildered by mental concoctions because of agitation from the material modes of nature. Also, it's like you have the moon, right, is round, but depending on the liquid in which it is reflected, it may look stretched, long, or different shapes. But originally, moon is not of those shapes. Because of being reflected on a particular liquid and because of the movement of the wind, now its shapes are changing. So similarly, depending on our association with the modes of material nature, we get different bodies and then we identify ourselves as those bodies. Actually, that's not our identity. Our identity is we are servants of the Supreme Lord. We are spirit souls, servants of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, since envious, impious activities cause a body in which one suffers in the next life, why should one act impiously? So you're doing activities because of your mental state. And based on the mental state only, based on your activities also, your consciousness is forming, your decisions and your activities. So based on your mental state, your next body is being prepared. And if you do envious activities, impious activities, you'll get a body in which you will have to suffer in the next life. Why should one act impiously now and suffer in future? Considering one's welfare, one should not envy anyone, for an envious person must always fear harm from his enemies, either in this life or in the next. So you're being envious to your sister. You want to kill her to protect this body. But this activity will cause you so much suffering. Will give you a body in the next life which will give you so much suffering. As your younger sister, this poor girl Devaki is like your own daughter and deserves to be affectionately maintained. You are merciful and therefore you should not kill her. Indeed, she deserves your affection. See, she's so innocent, so dependent. She's your little sister. She's just like your daughter. She should be protected. She deserves your affection. She doesn't deserve to be killed by you. Sukadeva Goswami continued, O best of the Kuru dynasty, Kamsa was fiercely cruel and was actually a follower of the Rakshasas. Therefore, he could Be neither pacified nor terrified, right? Pacified by glorifying him. You are the best of the Bhoja dynasty. How can you act like this? That didn't pacify him. Nor did it terrify him. You're going to suffer in future. These sinful activities will give you such a body. You'll have to suffer. That also didn't scare him because he's already a follower of Rakshasas. He's a Rakshasa. So he was neither pacified nor terrified by the good instructions given by Vasudeva. He did not care about the results of sinful activities, either in this life or in the next. When Vasudeva saw that Kamsa was determined to kill his sister Devaki, he thought to himself very deeply. Now, how to save Devaki? Right? Kamsa started thinking, Vasudeva started thinking deeply. Kamsa is not going to change his mind. Considering the imminent danger of death, he thought of another plan to stop Kamsa. As long as he has intelligence and bodily strength, an intelligent person must try to avoid death. Right? Atyantika dukkha nivritti. This is the dharma of every person, to protect your life or another's life also. You should first try to protect life. When there is life, then you can do so many things. To avoid death, any intelligent person must try to avoid death. This is the duty of every embodied person. But if death cannot be avoided in spite of one's endeavors, a person facing death commits no offense. Yes, we should make our endeavor to save from death, but in spite of our endeavor, if death is coming anyway, then we are not at fault. So Vasudeva is facing a situation where Devaki is going to be killed. So he has to save her from death. So at least from his side, he must make an endeavor, right? So what is Vasudeva's plan? Vasudeva considered, by delivering all my sons to Kamsa, who is death personified, I shall save the life of Devaki. Perhaps Kamsa will die before my sons take birth, right? He can get some disease, cancer or something. He can die in an accident, whatever, or he's in a battle with some other Rakshasa, he gets killed. He can die before the children are born. At least I have saved Devaki. Or, since he is already destined to die at the hands of my son, one of my sons may kill him. Right? Akashwani said that my son will kill. So maybe my son will be so powerful that he will kill Kamsa. So I have to save Devaki. Because maybe my son will kill. Let me save Devaki first. For the time being, let me promise to hand over my sons so that Kamsa will give up this immediate threat. And if in due course of time Kamsa dies, I shall have nothing to fear. So you see, the previous verse said that if an intelligent person should try to protect, save from death. So he's talking about Devaki. He has to protect Devaki. Then you may say, what about his sons? He's going to hand over his sons. Is he not, as a father, doesn't he have to protect his sons? Then for that, Vasudeva is considering that in spite of trying, still if he is not able to save, then that's not his fault, right? So he's considering all these. He may not even have sons, who knows, right? But if Devaki is killed, certainly he will not have sons. But if he saves Devaki, so many options are possible. Maybe the sons won't even be born. And even if born, maybe one of them will kill Kamsa. Or maybe Kamsa will die before the sons are born, so they will be saved. So those possibilities are there if he promised to give the sons. But at the same time, Vasudeva was very responsible. He was willing to accept the sinful reaction of not protecting his sons. Why he's accepting that sinful reaction? He's not saying, well, I tried, so I'll be saved. No. Because he's a person of honor who has, the person, of honor. Yeah, his word was always truthful. So therefore, he said that let me try to save Devaki. And as far as my sons are concerned, these different possibilities are there by which they may be saved. And in the worst case, if Kamsa kills them, in spite of my endeavor, then I will accept that sinful reaction as a father for allowing my sons to be killed. I will accept that. But let me save Devaki first. Like that. So he's thinking, for the time being, let me promise to hand over my sons so that Kamsa will give up this immediate threat. And if in due course of time Kamsa dies, I shall have nothing to fear. When a fire, for some unseen reason, leaps over one piece of wood and sets fire to the next, the reason is destiny. Similarly, when a living being accepts one kind of body and leaves aside another, there is no other reason than unseen destiny. So it's not certain that many times you see in the forest also, when there is a forest fire, one tree has the source from where the fire is coming. The tree immediate to that may not get burnt, and the fire jumps over and it the tree after that catches fire, but the tree immediately after this is not killed. That means what? That tree was destined to live. So ultimately it is destiny who will live, and how they will live. That is destiny, right? Unseen destiny. So that's why he's thinking, when a living being accepts one kind of body and leaves aside another, there is no other reason than unseen destiny. Talking about his sons, future sons, right? Whether they'll be saved or whether they'll be killed by Kamsa. That's going to happen by destiny. But let me save the immediate situation. Let me save Devaki first. After thus considering the matter as far as his knowledge would allow, Vasudev submitted his proposal to the sinful Kamsa with great respect. Again, his heart is weeping, right? Because he's promising to offer his sons to Kamsa so that he could kill them. All his sons, not just any one of them. The eighth son, is he promising only the eighth son? No. He's promising all of them. And he's talking to Kamsa, smiling. And with great respect he's talking, although there is pain in his heart. Vasudev's mind was full of anxiety because his wife was facing danger. But in order to please the cruel, shameless and sinful Kamsa, he externally smiled and spoke to him as follows. Why? Because if he didn't smile, if he showed his emotions to Kamsa, Kamsa may think, oh, he's suffering. That means he may change his word in future. Just to save Devaki's life, now he's saying okay, but because he's feeling the pain, he'll change his mind later on. He will not give. So to convince Kamsa, he's smiling with, smiling as if he's happy, and he's saying, I will give you all my sons. Although he's in great anxiety in his heart, he didn't show it to Kamsa, he was smiling. Vasudev said, O best of the sober, you have nothing to fear from your sister Devaki because of what you have heard from the unseen omen. The Akashvani said, eighth son will kill. You have no fear from Devaki. It is her eighth son that's going to kill you. The cause of death will be her sons. Therefore, I promise. Who is promising? Vasudev. Vasudev is known for his word of honor. Therefore, I promise that when she gives birth to the sons from whom your fear has arisen, I shall deliver them all unto your hands. Not just one. All the sons that I have from Devaki, I am going to hand over to you. Srila Sukadeva Goswami continued. Kamsa agreed to the logical arguments of Vasudev, and having full faith in Vasudev's words, he refrained from killing his sister. He was not convinced previously with the arguments. But when Vasudev said, all right, I will give you all my sons, then he had faith in Vasudev's words, and then his logical arguments also made sense to Kamsa. That, oh yeah, my name will be spoiled, that I have killed my sister on her wedding day, and so many. So all these arguments also made sense. And he refrained from killing his sister. Vasudev, being pleased with Kamsa, pacified him further and entered his own house. Then, each year thereafter, in due course of time, Devaki, the mother of God and all the demigods, gave birth to a child. Thus, she bore 8 sons, one after another, and a daughter named Subhadra. So, Devaki gave birth to 8 sons, and then after that, she had a daughter called Subhadra. So Devaki had 8 sons and 1 Subhadra. 6 of them were killed by Kamsa. Not in the prison. She was not born in the prison. Krishna was the last child born in the prison. So this was after they were released. But yeah, she gave birth to 1 daughter also. Vasudeva was very much disturbed by fear of becoming a liar by breaking his promise. Thus, with great pain, he delivered his firstborn son, named Kirtiman, into the hands of Kamsa. As soon as the child was born, Vasudeva delivered the child to Kamsa. Why? Because he had promised to give, and out of affection, he may not want to give. So he was very much fearful that if I didn't give, I'll become a liar. Why? Because of breaking this promise. He didn't want to be a liar. Because he was a person who stood by dharma. So he could bear the pain of offering his son to the enemy who's certainly going to kill the baby. He could bear that pain, but he could not bear the pain of going against dharma. This is the integrity of those who live by the principle of dharma. So, what is painful for saintly persons who strictly adhere to the truth? How could there not be independence for pure devotees who know the Supreme Lord as the substance? What deeds are forbidden for persons of the lowest character, and what cannot be given up for the sake of Lord Krishna by those who have fully surrendered at his lotus feet? So, here we are talking about different people. What is painful for saintly persons who strictly adhere to truth? So, this is Vasudeva. Vasudeva, who strictly adheres to truth, what pain can he not bear in order to remain truthful? He can even bear the pain of the loss of his firstborn son, personally handing over his son to the enemy to be killed. That pain also, as a father, he can tolerate for the sake of adhering to the truth. How could there not be independence for pure devotees who know the Supreme Lord as the substance? How could there not be independence for pure devotees who know the Supreme Lord as the substance? I will have to look at the verse for that. But of course, this is also talking about Vasudeva. How could there not be independence for pure devotees who know the Supreme Lord as the substance? Yes, that means they are completely dependent upon the Supreme Lord, upon the will of the Supreme Lord, right? And in order to carry out the will of the Supreme Lord, they can take any type of pain. They have that free will, they have that independence. They choose that independence because they know the Supreme Lord is in full control, right? To carry out his order. So here also, Vasudeva, anyway, I'll just continue reading. What deeds are forbidden for persons of the lowest character? Talking about Kamsa, this is Kamsa, right? Those people who are of lowest character, they can fall down to any extent. They can do any sinful activity. So Kamsa will not think twice about killing a newborn baby because he's so fallen. Lowest character. And what? He was ready to kill his sister. So will he think about killing the sister's son? No. And what cannot be given up for the sake of Lord Krishna by those who are fully surrendered at his lotus feet? So this is Vasudeva, who is ready to give up anything for the sake of Lord Krishna. My dear King Parikshit, when Kamsa saw that Vasudeva, being situated in truthfulness, was completely equipoised in giving him the child, he was very happy. When Vasudeva came with the baby, Kamsa saw and he was very happy. Therefore, with a smiling face, he spoke as follows. Oh Vasudeva, you may take back your child and go home. I have no fear of your first child. It is the 8th child of you and Devaki that I am concerned with, because it is the child by whom that is the child by whom I am destined to be killed. So he was very pleased by Vasudeva's truthfulness. He could see how difficult it is for a father, right, to give. And so he said, Vasudeva, you're giving me a first child. Oh, it's okay. You keep this child. I have no fear from the first. My fear is only from the 8th child. So Vasudeva agreed, took his child back home. But because Kamsa had no character and no self-control, Vasudeva knew that he could not rely on Kamsa's word. Vasudeva understood. He knew, again, those who are devotees of the Lord, they can understand, even if the other person is cheating or, what is his nature, right? Those who are not devotees, they'll be flickering. They cannot be fixed. They'll say something today and tomorrow their mind will change. But those who are devotees of the Lord, they can understand the flickering mentality of the non-devotees also. So Vasudeva, Kamsa said, take the son back. Vasudeva took the son back, but he understood. He knew Kamsa is a fallen person, sinful person. His mind will not stay the same. Now he's happy with me. He's saying, take back the son. His mind can change at any moment and he can do something else. He can kill the child also, like that. So Vasudeva knew that. So he didn't become overly joyful, oh, I'm getting my son back. Vasudeva agreed and took his child back home. But because Kamsa had no character and no self-control, Vasudeva knew that he could not rely on Kamsa's word. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, headed by Nanda Maharaj and including his associate cowherd men and their wives, were none but denizens of the heavenly planet, O Maharaj Parikshit, best of the descendants of Bharat. And so too were the descendants of the Vrishni dynasty, headed by Vasudeva and Devaki, and the other women of the dynasty of Yadu, the friends, relatives, and well-wishers of both Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva, and even those who externally appeared to be followers of Kamsa were all demigods, as we read earlier, because the Lord ordered all the demigods to come in their plenary expansions in the families of Yadu dynasty. So they appeared as Nanda Maharaj's family members, relatives, friends, and also Vasudeva's family members, relatives, and friends. Once the great saint, so now Kamsa sent the first child back. So after that, Narad Muni, once the great saint Narad Muni approached Kamsa and informed him of how the demoniac persons who were a great burden on the earth were going to be killed. Thus Kamsa was placed into great fear and doubt. After the departure of the great saint Narada, Kamsa thought that all the members of the Yadu dynasty were demigods and that any of the children born from the womb of Devaki might be Vishnu. So all this was told by Narad Muni, that all these members in the Yadu dynasty, they're all demigods. Who are demigods? They're all supporters of Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, is going to appear to kill all the demons. And he is the follower of Rakshasa. So he became fearful. That means Devaki's children are all demigods. So any one of them can be Lord Vishnu. Fearing his death, Kamsa arrested Vasudeva and Devaki, chained them with iron shackles, suspecting each of the children to be Vishnu. Kamsa killed them one after another because of the prophecy that Vishnu would kill him. So what did he do? Immediately he arrested. So why did he arrest? Because of Narad Muni's coming. So you may question why Narad Muni did this. Why did Narad Muni do this? Because again, they're all devotees. They want Krishna to come soon. Even Vasudeva, year after year, he's having a baby. You may ask why he's having a baby year after year, that too in the prison house. Because he's very eager to see the Supreme Lord Hari as his child. He was very eager to face of the Supreme Lord. That means what pain will a devotee not undergo? That means his love for the Supreme Lord is far superior to any other material considerations. Father's affection for son, that's nothing compared to this devotee's love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And similarly, Narad Muni also, he's coming and aggravating Kamsa. Why? So that the Lord can come soon, right? And also that's the Lord's mission. That's why. So because of Narad Muni's, hearing Narad Muni's words, Kamsa got scared. So what did he do? He arrested and chained Vasudeva and Devaki in iron shackles And each year Vasudev and Devaki were giving birth to a child, and each year Kamsa would kill them. He killed the firstborn also, which he had sent back, he killed, and every year he started killing, one after another, because of the prophecy that Vishnu would kill him. Kings greedy for sense gratification on this earth almost always kill their enemies indiscriminately to satisfy their own whims. They may kill anyone, even their mothers, fathers, brothers, or friends. We have one example, Aurangzeb, right? He can kill like someone who is greedy for sense gratification. The point is, Prahlad Maharaj also told his father Hiranyakashipu, right? You cannot trust a person who has not controlled his senses. One who is greedy for sense gratification, right? He can go to any extent. Yes. He will almost always kill his enemies indiscriminately. To satisfy his own whims, he can kill anyone, even his mother, father, brother, or friends. In his previous birth, Kamsa had been a great demon named Kalanemi and been killed by Vishnu. Upon learning this information from Narada, Kamsa became envious of everyone connected with the Yadu dynasty because they are all demigods. Demigods are all supporters of Lord Vishnu. In his previous life, he was killed by Vishnu, and now the same Vishnu is going to come as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki and kill him again. And everyone is demigods. So he became envious of all the Yadu dynasty, all the members of the Yadu dynasty. Kamsa, the most powerful son of Ugrasena, even imprisoned his own father, the king of the Yadu, Bhoja, and Andhaka dynasties, and personally ruled the states known as Shurasena. So he arrested his own father, and the next chapter tells us how, out of fear of Kamsa, they all scattered here and there, all the members. So you know what I'm going to do now? Because it's already your 8 o'clock. I will just read the summary of these two chapters so you'll get some idea. Is that okay? What do you want me to do? Because I see already some devotees are leaving. There's 2 more chapters. Should I just read the summary and
Yes,
finish?
Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
You all have to go to work and school, I think. Okay. So chapter 2, prayers by the demigods for Lord Krishna in the womb. As described in this chapter, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead entered the womb of David. So first 6 babies were killed. So in this chapter, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead entered the womb of Devaki to kill Kamsa, all the demigods understood that the Lord was living within Devaki's womb, and therefore in veneration they offered him the Garbhastuti prayers. So that is the subject, the topic of the second chapter, the prayers by the demigods to Lord Krishna in the womb of Devaki. Kamsa, under the protection of his father-in-law Jarasandha. So Jarasandha had twin daughters, they were married to, or 2 daughters, they were married to Kamsa. Okay? So Jarasandha is the father-in-law of Kamsa. Kamsa, under the protection of his father-in-law Jarasandha, and with the help of his demoniac friends like Pralamba, Baka, Chanura, Trinavarta, Aghasura, Mushtika, Bana, and Bhaumasura, began oppressing the members of the Yadu dynasty. So he was oppressing the members of the Yadu dynasty. Therefore, the members of the Yadu dynasty left their homes and sought shelter in such states as Kuru, Panchala, Kekaya, Shalva, and Vidarbha, neighboring kingdoms. They went and took shelter there because of Kamsa's atrocities. Only some of them stayed with Kamsa as nominal friends, externally showing like they were his supporters, but actually, so as nominal friends, they just stayed. After Kamsa killed the Shad Garbhas, the 6 babies in the womb of Devaki, or born from Devaki, after Kamsa killed the Shad Garbhas, the 6 sons of Devaki, one after another, Anantadev entered Devaki's womb and was transferred to the womb of Rohini by the manipulation of Yogamaya, who was following the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord himself, who was soon to appear as the 8th son of Devaki, ordered Yogamaya to take birth from the womb of Yashodamai. Because Krishna and his potency Yogamaya appeared simultaneously as brother and sister, the world is full of Vaishnavas and Shaktas. Vaishnavas are followers of Lord Vishnu, Shaktas are followers of Shakti, right? Durga Devi or Vaishnavi Devi, like that. So why the world is filled with Vaishnavas and Shaktas? Because both the Lord and his Shakti appear at the same time. And there is certainly some rivalry between them, between the Vaishnavas and the Shaktas. Vaishnavas worship the Supreme Lord, whereas Shaktas, according to their desires, worship Yogamaya in forms like Durga, Bhadrakali, and Chandika. Following the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yogamaya transferred Baladev Sankarshan, the seventh child of Devaki, from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. So on Balaram Jayanti, you may have heard this pastime. Why Balaramji appeared, why he even entered Devaki's womb? Because he is the best servant of the Supreme Lord. He likes to make all arrangements for the Supreme Lord. Balaram is the original spiritual master. The spiritual master arranges everything for the service of the Supreme Lord. So Baladevji entered into Devaki's womb to prepare the womb for the Lord to appear. And after that was done, then he went to Rohini. Why? Because eternally Baladev is the son of Rohini. He is eternally Rohini's son. But he entered Devaki's womb just to prepare the place, right? Nice, comfortable place for the Lord to come and rest in the womb of Devaki. That's why. So, by the order, the Lord's order, Yogamaya transferred Baladev Sankarshan, the seventh child of Devaki, from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. So after Baladevji did his job, then he transferred again back to Rohini. Because Sankarshan appears in order to increase love of Krishna, he is known as Baladev. Baladev. Baladev means he gives us strength for devotional service, not that he gives us physical strength. Baladev, right? So he increases love of Krishna. One may take auspicious strength from him to become a devotee of the Lord, and therefore he is also known as Balabhadra. Okay. After Yogamaya transferred the seventh child of Devaki to the womb of Rohini, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared within the heart of Vasudeva. Also, how the Lord appeared, not like us, right? He appeared in the heart of Vasudeva and transferred himself into the heart of Devaki. Because the Lord was present in her heart, Devaki, as her pregnancy continued, appeared effulgent. Upon seeing this effulgence, Kamsa was full of anxiety, but he could not harm Devaki because of their family relationship. Again, he was thinking of all the instructions that Vasudeva gave, right? Now she's pregnant also. How he will kill a pregnant lady? It was obvious that she's carrying the child who's going to kill him, but he could not kill her now when she was pregnant. And besides, if this child is so powerful, because this Akashvani has, predicted, then even if I try to kill Devaki while pregnant, the child will still kill me anyway, because he is so powerful. And on top of that, I will get the bad name of trying to kill a pregnant lady, my sister. So I'll just wait until the child is born. Thus he began indirectly thinking of Krishna and became fully Krishna conscious. Sitting, eating, he's always thinking the child will be born at any moment, he's going to kill me. So wherever he saw, he's seeing Krishna, Krishna, Krishna always. Meanwhile, because of the Lord's presence within the womb of Devaki, all the demigods came to offer the Lord their prayers. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, they said, is eternally the absolute truth. The spiritual soul is more important than the gross body, and the super soul Paramatma is still more important than the soul. The Supreme Godhead is absolutely independent, and his incarnations are transcendental. The prayers of the demigods glorify and exalt devotees and exalted devotees. The prayers of the demigods glorify and exalt devotees and explain the fate of persons who superficially consider themselves liberated from the conditions of material nature, right? So in these prayers, you'll find the verse, where it is said, those who vimukta manina, they think that they are liberated, but actually what is their fate? They will come back, they will suffer this world, they are not liberated because of their disrespect to the Supreme Lord, thinking that his body is material. Such jnanis, because of their disrespect, they don't get liberation, although superficially they are thinking that they are liberated. And then these prayers compare the devotee's position. They never fall down, right? Because of their taking full shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. These lotus feet, like a boat, carry them across this material ocean. A devotee is always safe. When a devotee fully surrenders at the lotus feet of the Lord, he is completely liberated from the fear of material existence. By explaining why the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends, the prayers of the demigods clearly confirm the Lord's statement in Bhagavad Gita 4:7, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of a religion, at that time I descend myself. So that was the gist of the prayers offered by the demigods. And chapter 3 is the birth of Lord Krishna. Here also we'll simply read the summary. As described in this chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna Hari in his original form appeared as Vishnu so that his father and mother could understand that their son was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because they were afraid of Kamsa, when the Lord appeared as an ordinary child, they took him to Gokul, the home of Nanda Maharaj. Mother Devaki, being fully transcendental, Satchidananda, does not belong to this material world. She is the eternal mother of Lord Vasudev, Krishna. So how she can be material? She is completely spiritual. Thus the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared with 4 hands as if born from her womb. Upon seeing the Lord in that Vishnu form, Vasudev was struck with wonder, and in transcendental happiness, he and Devaki mentally gave 10,000 cows in charity to the Brahmanas. We were reading yesterday about Ambarish Maharaj, right? Giving 60 crores of cows in charity. So when at an auspicious moment you give charity of cows. So mentally they gave 10,000 cows in charity to the Brahmanas. Vasudev then offered prayers to the Lord, addressing him as the Supreme Person, Parabrahman, the Super Soul, who is beyond duality and who is internally and externally all-pervading. The Lord, the cause of all causes, is beyond material existence, although he is the creator of this material world. When he enters this world as Paramatma, he is all pervading. Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham. Yet, when he enters this world as Paramatma, he is all pervading, yet he is transcendentally situated. For the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material world, the Lord appears as the Guna avatars. Who are the Guna avatars? Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. Vishnu means Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. Thus, Vasudev offered prayers full of meaning to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devaki followed her husband by offering prayers describing the transcendental nature of the Lord. Fearing Kamsa and desiring that the Lord not be understood by atheistic and materialistic non-devotees, she prayed that the Lord withdraw his transcendental 4-armed form and appear like an ordinary child with 2 hands. The Lord reminded Vasudeva and Devaki of 2 other incarnations in which he had appeared as their son. He had appeared as Prishnigarbha and Vamandev, and now this was the 3rd time. He was appearing as the son of Devaki to fulfill their desire. The Lord then decided to leave the residence of Vasudeva and Devaki in the prison house of Kamsa, and at this very time, Yogamaya took birth as the daughter of Yashoda. So we also know Yogamaya and Krishna, Brajendra Nandan Krishna, both appear to Yashoda Mai at the same time. By the arrangement of Yogamaya, Vasudev was able to leave the prison house and save the child from the hands of Kamsa. By the arrangement of Yogamaya. That means all the prison, the soldiers, right? They guards, they fell asleep and the locks opened, the gates opened, all this happened by the arrangement of Yogamaya. So Vasudeva was able to leave the prison house and save the child from the hands of Kamsa. When Vasudeva brought Krishna to the house of Nanda Maharaj, he saw that by Yogamaya's arrangement, Yashoda as well as everyone else was deeply asleep. On that side also, everyone was asleep. Thus he exchanged the babies. What did he see there? He saw, he took the girl baby and left his boy there. He exchanged the babies, taking Yogamaya from Yashoda's lap and placing Krishna there instead. Then Vasudeva returned to his own place, having taken Yogamaya as his daughter. Now he has a daughter. He placed Yogamaya on Devaki's bed and prepared to be a prisoner as before. In Gokul, Yashoda could not understand whether she had given birth to a male or a female, because after labor she had, so exhausted she didn't see. So when she woke up, she saw beautiful Krishna as her child. The girl was taken by Vasudeva. So these are the first 3 chapters. The second and third chapters, I just went over the summary because of shortage of time, but you can read them on your own also. So all of you have a blessed Janmashtami, and may your day be fully filled with devotional service, and wish you a very happy Janmashtami. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Wish you also very happy Janmashtami. We miss
Thank
you
you.
here.
Ours is tomorrow. For us, it's tomorrow. Today's evening.
Today's
For us,
evening.
tomorrow morning is Janmashtami. But
So
thank
you're
you.
celebrating 2 days.
I'm preparing. I'm preparing today.
And then Krishna Katha, by listening, every year we listen, every often we listen, but still you feel like listening more and more, and you don't get bored of the Krishna
That's a
Katha.
devotee's symptom. Yes, wanting to hear again.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank
Mataji.
you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare
Happy
Krishna.
Janmashtami.
Thank you. Happy Janmashtami. Tomorrow for us.
Yes, Mataji.